here in DFW and the Dallas Mavs. Welcome back to the Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Rizwan. On the airwaves, I've got Shep with me. And Shep, I do want to talk about the young Cooper Flag and what he's been doing, man.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah. So the 49-point explosion on a 20 for 29, I think, shooting he had in that 123-121 loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Yes, it was a loss, followed by 34 points last night against the Rockets in another loss. Yes, the Mavs have lost 4 straight, but he has become the youngest teenager to score this many points. I think he passed LeBron James, Anthony Edwards. So let's see. I don't want to misquote anything. So this is the most points scored by a teenager in the NBA history in a 2-game span. And his second 40-point game this year already. LeBron James and Anthony Edwards are the only other teenagers to drop 40 points in multiple games in the NBA. And he's still got the rest of this year and part of next year
yeah,
to surpass that. So, I mean, I don't want to get way ahead of myself, right? He's half a season into the first season, but man, he looks like the real deal. Looks like the Mavs have a generational talent on their hands after, unfortunately, giving away a generational talent. Your thoughts on what you're seeing? What stands out from Flag's game to you?
Look, there's a lot of encouraging things from him. He's learning. I think that sounds kind of trite, but he's learning, and he's learning quickly. Which means that the intellectual side of the game is going to be there too. So you can see where he's probably going to continue to get better.
Which is a scary proposition for the rest of the NBA, right? Because, I mean, and that's the thing, what you said, I want to hone in on. It's not just that he's learning quickly. The things that he's been able to learn from and get better from game 1 to game wherever we are at this point, 48, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. We've seen teenagers come in before. We've seen teenagers come in and be successful right away. But and I don't want to get into hyperbole we've never seen, right? But the pace at which he's learning and adjusting and getting better is just phenomenal.
Yeah, we've seen young players who are very physically talented do things, and he is obviously very physically talented. But I think it's a quick improvement from game 1 to now, which is indicative of someone who's putting the hours in to study and get better and find his weaknesses and find the weaknesses of those to exploit of those he's playing. And look, Dallas lucked into that lottery pick, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the process you want to follow to get that pick, as you always talk about. But it looks like they may be able to, from a overall talent standpoint, replace Luka. It'd just be a different talent.
Yeah, different style, different talent. And look, there's going to be a more and I was the biggest Luka defender when it came to just the lazy, he doesn't play defense, he's a liability. I would point to his 2+ steals per game that he was averaging, and he's still doing it for the Lakers. But I think there's going to be an element of defense, especially as Flag learns the game, as he adjusts to again, all of these things are scary propositions for the rest of the NBA, right? As he adjusts to the speed, to the level of play, as his body fills out, right? As he puts on a little bit more muscle, possibly, he's just going to get better and better. And I think the element of defense that he brings to the table is going to be a really, really welcome portion of the overall package that is Cooper Flag right now for the Dallas Mavs. It is absolutely, I think, It feels like he is a slam dunk hit as the first overall pick so far, and at this pace of learning and improvement, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, no, I think he's been. I think that's the thing. Like the quick and obvious improvement is the most encouraging thing.
Yep. So just for the audience, so we talked about learning and pivoting, right? For the franchise as well, what they have on their hands. They put him in at point guard for the first 7 games of the season, and he averaged 13.6 points per contest. And we talk about that as a failed experiment. He averaged 13.6, 6.3 rebounds, 2.9 assists with 2.1 turnovers while shooting 39% from the field. But if you zoom out, look at the overall season, in spite of those 7 games early on, he's approaching 20 points a game now. 19.8 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists, while shooting 48.4% from the field. Again, that includes that 39% that he shot for the first 7 games, right? So since then, he's over 50% and over 20 points a game, and almost 7 rebounds a game and 5+ assists per game since moving out of that point guard position. So yeah, I think this is the trajectory should continue, and at the end, he's going to end up having one of the best rookie seasons the NBA has seen. And kudos to the Mavs again. You've got gold on your hands. Let's make sure let's make sure you continue to develop him and develop the talent around him. Put the right talent, figure out what the complementary pieces are. Let's see if Anthony Davis and Kyrie can come back, and let's see what that team looks like at this point. Since you haven't moved Anthony Davis, right? So let's see what you have on your hands.
To be fair, Anthony Davis can't move for a while, so.
Yes, maybe it's not the Mavs' fault that they were unable to move him. Yeah, man, I'm excited, and I'm hoping that I'm not my excitement doesn't run into a brick wall a couple of years down the line, because we've got to make sure we develop him the right way and put the right type of talent around him. There's a lot else happening in the world of the NBA, but we've got to pivot because it is now time to get to the king of sports.
The NFL.
Newman was there. Sutton quickly assembles with his team at the line. Clock is ticking. For Boney the snap. Crawshaw, the rookie, will hold it.
Come on, finish it out.
39-yard field goal for the win.
Will Lutz for the win. That was that 33-32 victory by the Denver Broncos, coming back in an improbable game against the Giants way back when. Remember? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
The NFL.
I won a fantasy game that week. Thank you, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. Just from Bo Nix's fourth quarter, right?
Yep.
I think they had 24 points in the fourth quarter. Just insane stuff. All right. So let's talk about the championship games last week, and let's talk about that. The reason I wanted to start with the Broncos. So the Broncos Patriots. Bo Nix got hurt at the tail end of that Bills game the week before.
Yeah.
And obviously that turned out to be season ending, and you had Jason Stidham coming in as the starter. There was never a chance, right? There was
a chance, but once the blizzard happened in the second half and they were down, they were just never going to move the ball.
Yep.
And that's impossible to move the ball in those type of conditions. And you got an overwhelming running game.
I haven't watched enough tape to understand if this was more on Sean Payton or more on Stidham or more on the weather, because the plays that he kept calling, they were all these sideways plays.
Yeah, I
running
don't think he
these.
trusted Stidham to throw the ball down the field, and he did get rid of his offensive coordinator after the game. So I don't know if that was scapegoating, but I mean, I think Peyton's job is pretty secure. I don't know what he was so unhappy about.
Yep.
But I think that, I mean, if you look, one of the reasons why the Patriots won the game is because of May's ability to move the ball with his feet.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
That,
10 rushes, 65 yards, and a touchdown. May did not have a good day. No, nobody was going to have a good day in that. Well,
no,
except,
it was just miserable. Football weather.
Except maybe Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Those guys just seem to defy this type of weather. But yeah, I mean, May was 10 for 21. Stidham was 17 for 31. Stidham passed for 133 yards. May had 86 yards passing. You know, some might say he didn't need to, but I think I don't know, man. The game was there. The game was there. What did you think about that backwards pass that set up the only touchdown for the Patriots? Otherwise, we're probably talking about Jason Stidham against Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, look, Sam Darnold will cost somebody else their job this week. But, yeah, I think it was a backward pass. But the thing is, I'm a little worried about, we'll talk about the game more next week. I'm a little worried about the competitiveness of the Super Bowl.
Oh, I am too. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that, and we'll get into why that might. There are pros and cons to that that way of thinking about the game, and we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, so I've looked at it, and I've tried to look at it, removing the veil of my deep dislike for the Patriots franchise. I thought the play when he threw it was a forward pass and it got deflected and moved backwards. The defender got his hand on it. I don't know. I don't know what the refs were doing. They called it a fumble. Then they said it's not a fumble. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they did. They called it a fumble. Then the Patriots run it in, and then they were like, no, it's incomplete. Just the whole thing was a mess.
It was an odd sequence, and you would expect better from the officiating crew.
Well, actually, I might argue that you wouldn't expect better, judging by what has transpired over the last month or so. You would expect exactly that. It's just, I mean, I looked at it, and maybe we can go back and examine it a little more, and you can dissuade my way of thinking. But it looks like it obviously moves. He's behind the line, and the ball is moving toward the line, and then gets deflected and moves backward. It was just, I don't know. I mean, here we are, another big game decided by another questionable call, and here we are. The Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the other side. I felt even before, and again, we're gonna dive deeper next Sunday, but even going into these games last Sunday, I felt that the NFL championship was being decided in Seattle between the Rams and the Seahawks.
So it's funny. We each have officiating beefs with championship games, and for me, it's the first half lack of defensive holding / defensive pass interference against the Seahawks not getting called that I have beef with, because they did it on a few plays that ended possessions for the Rams, and I think that if they get called, the Rams would win.
Yeah, no, you're right. You'll never find an argument from me when it comes to inconsistent application of the rules by the NFL officials. You're absolutely right. And I hate the lazy take of folks saying, well, quit whining. It's not that one play that decided the game. Is it a rule? Did you apply it properly? Right? That's what it comes down to. And but yes, I think the game, the whole life of the game, that an NFL game is a living thing, right? Plays play off of each other. The situation. Yeah. So you can't say it doesn't matter if they didn't call it in the first quarter. Of course it matters. The whole game changes.
And look, those possessions were ended, okay? And I look, the Seahawks may have come back to win anyways. It was still really yada yada. But I felt like they were obvious fouls that should have been called, and they would have extended Rams possessions.
Yeah.
So, and maybe the Seahawks would have scored more points. They would have. I don't know who would have won, but it was just irritating from a neutral perspective. Because even though I'd picked the Rams to win Super Bowl a few weeks ago, I didn't really have a rooting interest in the game.
Yep.
I just wanted a good game.
No, it was a good game. It was a good game for 3 quarters. And I mean, even in the fourth quarter. But look, the Rams ended up with 479 total offensive yards to 396 for the Seahawks. So effectively 400 plus yards of offense from each team. Final score 31-27. You know, they each ran the ball. I felt that even though Seattle only ran for 75 yards, I think they ran pretty well.
Runs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. But the passing, man, I mean, it just, you know, we've talked about this before.
Man, so was Stafford.
Yeah, well, Stafford, you always expect, but I'm telling you, the situation, the environment, the coaching staff matters so much in the NFL, and Sam Darnold is the beneficiary. And here we go. In spite of my favorite quarterback having been picked later, here we go. Sam Darnold, who we thought was going to be out of the NFL at this point, is going to the Super Bowl before Josh Allen is. I want to take this last 3 or 4 minutes. I've got to say one thing, and then I want to come back to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So Wahaj M. Khan's solo exhibition. The renowned designer Wahaj M. Khan is bringing his stunning formal Ramadan and Eid luxury creations right to your doorstep at the Nilo Hotel in Plano. Elevate your style quotient with Wahaj's exquisite raw silk kalidars and 3-piece straight shirt sets, embroidered shisha silks with Resham embroidery, tie-dyed silks, and beautiful block print lenga cholis, ajrak jackets, and solid sets. All of this you can take advantage of on February 7th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Nilo Plano, which is on Preston Road. Don't miss this exclusive shopping experience. Luxury you'll love, style you'll remember. All right. I am 2 weeks removed from that loss. And, you know, more I've gone back and looked at the tape, more I put the onus. Yes, there were bad calls. There were all of that. But I think the onus for that loss sits on Josh Allen. That's where it sits. Because even the disputed interception versus catch by Cook, he underthrew him. The only reason McMillan's able to get his hands on it is because he underthrew him. And I know he's got the arm strength to not have underthrown it. Now, he was pressured. You find out he apparently played the last month with a broken foot. He had surgery on that.
It mattered.
I'm sorry?
It's tough to play quarterback when you got a broken bone in your foot.
Yes. And that kind of explains because he doesn't do this, the underthrows and the overthrows, and it's his plant foot, right? And that's where if there's discomfort there, all of these bad plays, they kind of make sense. But I don't want to use that as an excuse. I just wanted to say, if they have one or two favorable calls, if they don't have the insane pass interference calls go against them after 3/4 of none of it being called, right? Maybe the results are different. But regardless, the more I've watched the plays, Josh Allen in the moment, whatever the reason, whatever the excuse might be, Josh Allen did not make the plays. He did not make that play to Knox. He did not make the play to Curtis Samuel. Right? If he's 6 inches lower to Knox, that's a touchdown. I mean, it's we'll talk about Sean McDermott next week, but ultimately, I wanted to make sure my mea culpa here. I wanted to make sure, since I am always defending him and looking at other things, the more I've looked at it, it's those plays. If he makes that play for about, leads Samuel by 3 or 4 more yards, it's a touchdown. Locke is not able to come over and intercept it. If he leads Cook by another yard, it's a catch. I mean, hell, maybe an inch, right? The way it played out. If he's 6 inches lower to Dalton Knox on that play, that's a touchdown. He's walking in, and the Bills are winning. So there were plenty of opportunities, and he did not make the plays. Whatever the reasons, excuses might be, he did not make the play. As a fan, all I can hope, do I think we need to cut him? No. Do I still think he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I still think, I think he's one of the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. So you come back, you put in the work, you take another go at it, and you try to complete it this time. That's all you can do. I think winning is so hard in the NFL that we kind of take it for granted when we see great talent, but it takes so much more. And we've been the young fan may have been spoiled a little bit by watching the consistent success from the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, that's not normal.
It's abnormal. It is. That doesn't happen in this league because, again, what do we always say? Every team has talent, man. Every team has talent. All right. Well, with that said, the season is over for 30 of the 32 teams. 2 teams remain, and they will be going at it next Sunday. And we'll be here next Sunday at 10 a.m. to talk all about it. There's quite a bit to discuss, and just a teaser. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a competitive game unless the NFL decides to make it. But we'll see. All right, you've been listening to the Sports Spotlight. Shep, always a pleasure, and looking forward to discussing. I think we're going to give at least a full hour to the Super Bowl next Sunday.
All righty, man.
Thank you. Have a good one. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad. I'm your host, Aswan, signing off.